I'm sorry, no, but she just asked.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
You ready? Okay. Good evening, folks. Certainly good to see all of you here this evening. I want to welcome you to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday, October 15th. As always, we will start with the roll call. You thought I forgot, didn't you?
Councilmember Lyles.
Here.
Councilmember McCarty.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins.
Here.
Vice Mayor Stovall.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. Obviously, we have a quorum. As always, we will start the evening with a moment of silence. We use that here in the town of Vinton so everyone can pray or meditate as they see fit. If you pray, and I hope you will, I certainly plan to, I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and certainly this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. And while we're standing, we'll also have the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Lyles, who's going to do that this evening?
Well, I know Nathan's been working really, really hard, so I thought I'd give him one more thing to say.
Like he didn't have enough, right?
Good job, Nathan.
Right, so if you folks will stand for those, please.
Good flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think drainage are not.
Big thanks.
Okay, again, certainly want to welcome you. Folks, are there any requests to postpone or change the order of the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the community announcements, which I skipped, as per usual. Community events and announcements, please.
Okay. October the 26th, there's a shred event and drug take back at the War Memorial from 10 to 1. October 29th, the downtown trick or treating in downtown starts at 3 o'clock. And November the 4th, there is a blood drive at the War Memorial from 10 to 2. November the 5th, the town offices are closed in observance of Election Day, and town council will not be having a council meeting. It will resume November the 19th. November the 2nd through the 16th, the town of Vinton is pleased to present the first annual Field of Honor, where members of the community can honor their heroes with an American flag. Hundreds of flags will be displayed in perfect rows for the public's viewing 24 hours a day during the event. Flags can be purchased in memory or honor of service members, past and present, regardless of where they live. And that again is November the 2nd through the 16th. The flags can be purchased beginning the 18th of October. All of the proceeds will benefit the VFW post number 4522. And where can we purchase the flags? Okay. So, is this on our website? Okay, so there is a link on our website where you can get your flag. And November the 11th, the town offices will be closed in observance of Veterans Day. And we also encourage folks to visit one of the many restaurants, entertainment venues in our community, and go to their websites or on social media for more information. And for more info on everything happening in Vinton, please visit the In Vinton Facebook page, and don't forget to like it and share it.
All right.
That's all I got.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Sabrina. Laura, do you have the announcements for the council activity?
I sure do. I have a whole bunch.
You've been busy.
Yes, sir. Going back to September 19th, Mayor Gross, Vice Mayor Stovall, and Councilmember Lyles attended the Vinton Magisterial District Community Meeting. On September 25th, Mayor Gross attended the William Byrd High School ribbon cutting. On September 26th, Mayor Gross attended the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission meeting, and the same day, Vice Mayor Stovall attended the RV TPO meeting. September 30th, Mayor Gross attended the Benton Historical Society Grant Award ceremony. October 1st, Vice Mayor Stovall and Councilmember Lyles attended a hotel proposal discussion meeting with town staff. October 7th, Mayor Gross attended the Roanoke County Sister City meeting. On October 9th, Council members Lyles and McCarty attended the community development meeting. October 10th, Councilmember Lyles attended the Benton 2050 Comprehensive Plan Advisory Meeting. On October 12th, Vice Mayor Stovall and Councilmember McCarty attended the Benton Fall Festival. And I think that's it.
Wow, busy time, that's for sure. Our council stays busy with all kinds of activities. We do more than just meet here a couple of times a month, believe me. So, yeah. Just to get back on track, are there any requests to postpone or change the order of the agenda? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Tonight, we have a couple of items. That's approval of the minutes of the regular meeting for September 17th, and also the minutes for the joint work session on October 1st.
I so move consent agenda.
Okay?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, and now to my favorite part of the meeting, awards and introductions and presentations, all that good stuff. And folks, I gotta tell you, there's a reason we're wearing pink up here tonight. We are celebrating the Virginia Breast Cancer Foundation donation. And I think...
Don't tell them.
Oh, don't tell them? Okay. I was going to say, I think these two folks are going to present the check. Hold on a minute.
Don't tell them.
Okay. Go for it then.
We're getting ready.
I'll stay in trouble, space.
This is even more than we thought. Oh my gosh. Here, let me get this camera. Oh, you must get over. Okay. Thank you for both us because the team that we had together that started us, we learned together and we had no idea. So we are this right. Yeah, this is beyond what I don't think we had a number in mind, but this year this is beyond. This is beyond. Very good. And thank you for Come roll, please. Huge. Thanks, Jake. Thanks for everybody helping. We should go on and continue to do it. So this road, your roads will have over.
And Andrew, you gotta get in. You're in competition with Wowza.
Yeah, you gotta get in it. Get down front. You have to come on. You have come on, Tony. Come on, back then. Come on, Tiffany. Oh, let's do one. Not that. Okay.
Donna, you're in it.
Go for it, Keith.
Yeah.
Keith and Andrew, were you part of? Oh,
No.
No? Okay.
Thank you.
Thought you were helping. About limits. I'm sorry.
So wow, right? I am absolutely blown away. Thank you all so much from the Virginia Breast Cancer Foundation and the many men and women and their caregivers throughout the whole state that benefit from this. According to the the American Cancer Society, deaths from breast cancer continue to decline. It's slight, but it's a decline because of early detection and treatment. And funds like this help us to provide funding for screening and diagnostic testing to detect breast cancer early. When we can detect it early, there's a 99% chance of survival. So thank you. These funds will be put to good use in order to help the men and women throughout our whole state to provide those services that they greatly need so that we can continue to make those death rates go down, and eventually we don't need to do any of this. So thank you all. You all blew it out of the water for this to be your first event. You know, I've been to a lot of these types of things, and to see your community come together like it did. And I know this was a heavy lift on the council and all of you all in the police department, on everybody who came out. All of your services were used for this, and it's very meaningful work. And we don't take lightly what you did for the patients throughout our state. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. I certainly want to just briefly thank everyone that was involved. This is the first year that they've done this. So, you know, to raise that kind of money the first year, I think is really remarkable. And we're very thankful for everyone that works so hard. And I know you guys worked hard to put all that together. So thank you for that. All right. Next recognition we have, Chief Drummond. I think you're going to do that one, all right?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, town staff, community members behind me. Thank you for the opportunity to come up here and highlight some of our team members. First up, I'd like to invite Lieutenant Mike Caldwell up here. Before I get into the award, I wanted to acknowledge Mike on the completion of a pretty awesome training that he recently completed this summer called The Crossing, which is the 3 C's in leadership. Those C's are character, competence, and conviction. It's a very dynamic and not your standard leadership training where you just sit there and you get a death by PowerPoint. It's much more interactive, where the mission of the training is that no one ever woke up and asked themselves, what does it take to be average today? And what can I do to be mediocre towards influencing my organization and the people around me? So The Crossing is a program that's different by intention. It's meant to be transformative, to really make a difference in the students' lives and the people and the organizations they influence. The Crossing is not a typical training program focused on teaching participants what to think, such as skills or theory of memorization. It's much more to create an environment where students feel safe to share their experiences, their challenges as both a follower and a leader. Because before you're a leader, you have to learn how to be a follower. Through self-assessments and reflective discussions, The Crossing expands the way students perceive themselves and others, leading to the best appreciation of how their words and actions impact those around them, as well as the organization of the community. And I thought it was relatively important to capture that, because not only their leadership skills, of course, come about in our own chain of command and structure, but they're also implemented in our everyday lives with our families and, of course, our community. And Lieutenant Mike Caldwell was very complimentary of that training, so I wanted to capture that, which leads me into this scenario. So a standoff situation arose in our jurisdiction on September 14, 2024, when officers trying to serve an emergency custody order that was obtained by a family member. And emergency custody orders themselves, by design, can be challenging because of their very request. Law enforcement either convinces or takes a person into custody for a mandatory mental health evaluation. This call on September 14th was volatile due to the circumstances surrounding the issuance of an emergency custody order, the intelligence gathered by officers, the reconnaissance of the scene, and firsthand information collected on the individual named of that order. In this case, because of the information, the presence of weapons, the subject's intoxicated state, and his frame of mind put the officers involved and others in this a high risk of injury or death. From first contact with the individual, the situation was extremely fluid and rapidly escalated as the suspect brandished his firearm and at times pointed the firearm towards our law enforcement officers. With the help of the Roanoke County Police Department, an element of the Virginia State Police, and the Roanoke City Police, the situation was contained to one specific residence. Lieutenant Mike Caldwell, who was off duty working at the Mingle, arrived at the scene to assist while officers gained a tactical advantage. Lieutenant Caldwell, a recent graduate of Hostage Negotiation School, promptly assumed the role of main liaison between law enforcement and the subject. Fresh from obtaining his certification in crisis negotiation, Lieutenant Caldwell put his training to the test a little over 24 hours after the training was completed. Lieutenant Caldwell spent several hours building a connection with the male subject, eventually gaining his cooperation with law enforcement demands. Ultimately, and in large part due to Lieutenant Caldwell's ability to build trust with the subject, officers were able to take him into custody without incident. And due to the subject's action and irrational behavior, there was a strong chance that tactical force would be deployed if negotiations didn't move forward. While every law enforcement resource that day was critical, Lieutenant Caldwell played a pivotal role in a peaceful outcome. Lieutenant Caldwell displayed a great discipline, a tactical mindset, and patience when dealing with an individual clearly not sound of mind. Thank you, Lieutenant Mike Caldwell. Thank you.
God, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, always. Please,
Congratulations once again. Next up, I'd like to call Miss Mandy Baker. Actually, it's part of the story, so I'm glad it worked out this way. So earlier this year, the Bakers welcomed a new addition to the family, Bella Baker, born February 27, 2024. While being pregnant and delivering a child is a wonderful experience, it does come with some obstacles when you deliver someone to this earth. New demands arise with a growing family, especially with young ones. While we all agreed that life is a blessing, as a parent, your expectations to perform and be the best version of yourself is a must. Upon returning to the Vinton Police Department a few weeks later, Mandy Baker gave herself no grace in settling back, despite the changes and new obligations of now being a mother of two. After pregnancy, Ms. Baker didn't take it easy. She embarked on a challenge called 75 Hard, a mental and physical toughness challenge. Think of this as an Ironman for your brain and for your body. At Vinton PD, we know Ms. Baker is someone who's already competitive, strives to be the best, and is always willing to push her fitness and lifestyle to the next level. The program 75 Hard is a program that is designed to change the way you are thinking from health to the level of discipline you approach every single task in your life. So it's not merely a fitness challenge, it's an all-encompassing test of your self-discipline and drive. 75 Hard aims to be a force multiplier that instills fortitude, discipline, and confidence. 75 Hard is a management tool that makes you find time for your obligations, but also develop the skills to manage your day and get more done without wasting time on meaningless things. So what are the rules that Ms. Baker had to live by for 75 days straight, 24/7? So completing 75 Hard takes the execution of 5 simple tasks every day for 75 days with 0 compromise and 0 substitutions. You cannot negotiate your way to completion. And if you mess up on any of the tasks at any time during 75 days of 75 Hard, you start over. So if you are on day 2 and you fail, you start over. If you're day in 74, you fail, you start over. So task 1, follow a structured diet that is geared towards your goals. No deviation, no cheat days, no alcohol, no sweets of any kind, no rewards for good behavior or dieting. Strict diet, 75 days, every day, 7 days. Take task 2 is 2 45-minute workouts, with one of those workouts being outside. Regardless of the weather or circumstance you find yourself in, if you failed to complete at least one outdoor workout each day, you must restart 75 Hard. Task 3 is drink 1 gallon of water every day. Sometimes the simplest task like drinking water can be the hardest. Task 4 is read 10 pages of a nonfiction educational book. Task 5 is take a progress picture every single day because as easy as the task may be, it makes you relatively uncomfortable taking a picture of yourself. But that's what separates successful people from everyone else is the small details. So for 75 days, that was Ms. Baker's life. That was her idea. Fun during the summer, July 4th, Memorial Day, a real gem to hang out with. And in August of this year, Ms. Baker completed the challenge with no excuses, no compromise, while being a full-time mom of 2 kids, full-time wife, and working a full-time job. Ms. Baker found time to complete each task until the end. Not many people complete 75 hard, I can assure you that. Many try and often fail. 75 hard obviously instilled something in Ms. Baker because she crushed that challenge. Ms. Baker wanted another challenge, large part due to her competitive spirit, so she created her own challenge, Fit 100. This young lady is obviously in constant competition with herself, or maybe she's in war with herself. It's incredible to see. We look forward to seeing Ms. Baker up here when she completes Fit 100. I think it's December 23rd. In addition to that, Ms. Baker and I completed in Boomtown CrossFit's Battle of the Bravest Saturday, which was a very humbling program and one that she did awesome in and sort of carried the team. We finished top 5.
All right.
Go.
Meaning we're 4th out of 5. We're number 4 out of 5 teams. Needless to say, congratulations to Ms. Baker for completing 75 hard. And this is a certificate from the person that created the program. So congratulations to you.
Congrats, man. It's awesome.
Oh.
Way to go. Congrats.
Clearly, those kids got somebody's hair.
Yeah. Thank goodness, right?
So in addition to completing that, Ms. Baker gets a coffee mug that says Zero Compromise, 75 hard. For Fit 100, she has to drink half a gallon of water every day, so half a gallon of water.
Wow.
Of course, the book to keep her honest and humble in her challenges. Congratulations again. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, town staff for the opportunity to be up here and acknowledge some of our employees.
Anytime.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thanks for
you.
the patch. That's a good looking patch right there. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Chief, thank you for the presentations tonight. Our police department just continues to make us proud, and it's obviously because of top-notch individuals that we have, including yourself, and we just appreciate them so much and the contribution they make not only to your department but to our entire community. Very, very proud of those folks. Anytime we have something going on in the police department, I like to call on the vice mayor since he was a former policeman here.
Yeah, I think it just shows you a testament of course, the hiring process, the people, the quality people that you pick. And once again, I mean, the people that you just talked to, that talks about how great our police department is and how people feel safe in this community, and you do a great job on a lot of different fronts. Got a great police department, and hats off to every single one of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Anyone else?
Awesome job as always.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, all right. Thank you. Thank you, folks. That's, it was great to see. It certainly was. All right, next one is Donna Collins. Donna, I think you have something special this evening, right?
Well, I don't have to bring it down too far this time. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, thank you for letting me speak tonight. I just wanted to give you some more information on the field of honor that we'll be doing. This was organized through our Veterans Outreach Committee that we established in January of this year. Informally, before we actually formed the committee, we've been a Virginia Valued Veterans employer since 2015. We did the Recognize Veterans with the Veterans Wall out in front of the council chambers. And then last year, we officially did our inaugural Veterans Day Ruck, which raised over $5,000 and donated it to the Boulder Crest Foundation. This year, through our committee, we've partnered with the Colonial Flag Foundation for our inaugural Field of Honor that will be held at the Benton War Memorial from 11/2 to 11/16 of 2024. There'll be 125 flags displayed across the lawn. Anybody may purchase a flag in honor of memory of a service member's past, present, or future. The cost of each flag will be $20. And after the 16th, the flags that have been purchased will be given to the family that purchased the tribute in the first place. And then we will continue to do this year after year, and we will just have to replace the flags. Everything else we can continue to use year after year. As Ms. McCarty stated, all proceeds of this event will be given to local VFW Post 4522, and the website will be available for donations, purchases, and sponsorship beginning October 18th.
All right.
I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Thank you. Sounds like a great event to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love this idea and certainly appreciate you putting this together, Donna. That's awesome.
Pleasure.
I think Donna has a special heart for veterans. It shows up all the time, and we appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
We love our veterans here in Vinton.
We look forward to seeing you all out there. And we're also looking for volunteers to help with the flags. So more information on that to come, but we're excited about it. We're looking forward to it.
All right, great. Well, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Great. Thank you.
My wheels were already turning about getting a flag, and the dates, this November 16th would be my dad's birthday, so
Oh.
definitely going to get one now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sound like we've sold some flags already then, 'cause I know I'm going to sign up. I have one other item I'd like to add to the awards and presentations thing, even though I didn't mention it in changing the agenda, but the town manager and I and several staff members, Andrew, I think you were involved, and the chief. And what I'm speaking of course, is the Roanoke County Sister City program. They gave us the privilege of meeting the folks from Poland. So these folks are obviously from a city or a town, so we pride ourselves in being Roanoke County's downtown. So they visited us, and we were able to well, quite frankly, brag about our town. And we told them a little bit about our town and how our government works, and particularly on a local level. And very brief tour. We walked over to the library. The folks at the library weren't prepared for us. I think we shocked them a little bit, but it actually worked out really well. The folks got to see what was going on at the library. And they presented us with a book about their city. I'll gladly pass this around, and I'll let you pronounce the name of that town, sir.
Opal.
Opal, okay, just like it looks. And it was a great group. They were very curious. They also, we gave them some Inventum pens, and I mentioned we were 100 and some years old. I thought that was really cool, you know. They said, well, we got a pen for you, and most of the emblem on this is dates back 1,000 years. And I said, oh, okay. But they were really nice. So I thought you folks might be interested in that. And we appreciate Roanoke County allowing us to be part of that Sister City program. Really neat, really neat. And with that, we will move on to, by the way, Mr. Mayor, did you want to add anything to that? I kind of...
Only in the sense, I know it's a Roanoke County library, but they were very impressed with the Benton Library. And in fact, that they had stated that it appeared on they produce a national calendar every year, and the Benton Library is featured in their national calendar of an example of a good civic our great civic community project. So,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh.
famous library in another country.
Yeah, right. I'm so glad you brought that up because they were very impressed, and of course they knew about it. The other thing too, in our walk over to the library, a couple of the folks and I were engaged in a conversation concerning our street lighting, and as you folks know, a few years ago we made an effort to update the lighting, and of course they liked the shape of the lights and all that, but one of them, from an engineering perspective, he was just really excited to see how we used the lighting, and it was all pointed down. They are very big on the dark skies thing in their town, although it doesn't look like it from that picture. But they were they were very, very impressed by our street lighting and how it works and everything. So it was a good visit. All right. Now we'll move on to citizen comments and petitions. You have some folks signed up?
Philip Bushy.
Good evening, Phil.
Good evening. I'm Phil Bushy, 183 Sanderson Ridge Court, Roanoke, Virginia, 24019-1208. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the Vinton Town Council, and Vinton staff, thank you. Thank you for this time again to explain Love Life Roanoke's mission in this valley. We are tasked with the uniting of the churches to stand against abortion and thus end the orphan crisis. Nationally, we are now in 27 cities. Locally, our 45 member churches are providing congregants with training to become sidewalk counselors, mentors for male and females that choose life, and we provide restoration services for post-abortion support, and a number of our churches have been vetted and have agreed to serve as houses of restoration. Since our last meeting, I can report to you that the Holy Spirit has blessed us with another baby save that makes 17 year to date. A young Spanish-speaking woman chose life for her 8-week-old baby at Planned Parenthood. On September 16th, while I was serving at Planned Parenthood, a special blessing was given to us to a 4-year ongoing prayer, and it was answered. We observed a young professional emptying boxes of files from her vehicle back into Planned Parenthood. After she finished, she drove slowly down the driveway, lowered her window, and with a beaming smile said, "I have just resigned from Planned Parenthood." Our abortionworker.com prayer was answered. Love Life Roanoke will be having our first on-site prayer vigil this coming Thursday in the vacant field adjoining the Summit Medical Site. Since 2021, the Holy Spirit has blessed Love Life with 68 baby saves. We trust His almighty saving power will also mercifully blanket Vinton. We thank Chief Drummond and his office for working with us to help keep a safe site for us to meet, and thus all attendees that would come and all traffic flow stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Anyone else? No. Okay. All right, with that, we'll move on to the reports from the committees. Community Development Committee, Nathan? Other than saying the pledge, I know you have many other skills, so now's your shot, man.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. The Community Development Committee meeting took place on August 14th. We discussed the comprehensive plan update, and So the comp plan update, just to give you some progress up to this point, our survey ended, and we had over 450 responses, which according to consultants, that's a really good sample size. That's about 5% of our population. Typically, you're lucky to have like 1% of your population. So it's a really good response rate for the community survey. We want to mention that we're having a community meeting on November 12th from 5 to 7 at the Vinton War Memorial. It's going to be an open house format, so citizens and interested parties can drop in at any time. I will mention there will be a presentation at 5:30. So even though it's open format, you can come between 5 and 7. There will be a formal presentation by our consulting group at 5:30. And the way that meeting will be set up, there'll be different stations for people to visit to cover different topics, including the comp plan. We also discussed the Safe Streets for All study that's currently ongoing with Roanoke County and Botetourt County. They also just wrapped up another survey phase for each of those localities. And taking those survey results, the next steps is for us to develop a planning structure for the future development of the actual action plan itself. And there's also going to be further discussion amongst town staff and the stakeholders related to the prioritization of the projects included in that plan. So each locality will be able to pick the recommended transportation options that they want to have emphasized in this plans for future funding. Because with Safe Streets for All, this isn't just a study that will be completed and sit on a shelf, but we're actually going to take projects from that and completely or immediately roll over into an application for federal funding to complete one or more of the projects in the future. Continuing the theme of transportation, Walnut Avenue Phase 3, which is from 1st to 5th Street, bike ped improvements. VDOT is currently administering that project on behalf of the town through the Smart Skill program. They're doing survey work and doing the design work, and over the next year they'll be doing the PE work, the preliminary engineering. But just to note, that project's not going to there's still a lot of years before the project actually breaks ground. So it's a lot of the due diligence work. It's a lot of the engineering and early survey work is taking place. And the HSIP grant, which is also bike ped improvements, or specifically just pedestrian improvements from PFG down to South Pollard, the South Pollard Virginia Avenue intersection, and then up South Pollard. Those are actually on the same kind of schedule. We're looking at like a 3-year schedule of preliminary engineering for the next year. We're like currently in that year. Then the right-of-way phase negotiations and obtained as easements, and then finally in construction. But those projects are kind of happening concurrently. 2B, Glade Creek Greenway Phase 2B, that project is going to move forward. We've gotten all the authorization. We're just waiting on materials, or the contractor's waiting on materials. And once that's constructed, hopefully it'll be completed by the end of this year. But we all have the approvals from Norfolk Southern, and the plans approved for that to move forward. Additionally, in terms of road safety and looking at another part of town, not Walnut Avenue or this portion near downtown. We also have been looking into Ruddle Road traffic safety improvements to address speeding in the neighborhood and improve safety. Some of those elements of traffic safety would include striping plans and developing a striping plan to have the roads and lanes marked, but also thanks to our police department for the grant to have traffic cameras out that will collect data. They won't just collect speed, but it'll also collect data for us to see what the average prevailing speed is, how many cars are going through the neighborhood. And additionally, there'll be flashing lights to indicate to people that they are speeding. But it seems to be in that neighborhood, there's a concern about people using it as a cut through. And obviously with one of our elementary schools there, we want that to be safe for both the neighborhood and for the students that attend Herman L. Horn. Final transportation related to parking. You may have noticed the differences in there's now no parking along one portion of Wesley Avenue, and also the addition of 30-minute parking on South Pollard Street, both done for traffic safety or to just address concerns in the downtown neighborhood with parking. Moving to RFPs, we received 2 RFPs for the hotel development site. And then concerning the former Steve's Garage property, we actually did not receive a RFP on that property. That's just a quick update on the proposals that were out and have now closed. Concerning the McClung property, which is the property owned by David McClung on Walnut Avenue, where the parking lot currently resides, the ESA, or the environmental assessment for phase 1, has been completed, and we're going to move forward with completing a phase 2, which will also include a structural analysis of the building and conceptual drawings for what potential uses could be used in the building. But that will help us with marketing, or at least getting a better understanding of what the building could be utilized in the future. We discussed a downtown fire block, once again using our brownfield grant to do environmental assessments on the property that have been completed, and how we could regrade the site and get it to a point where it's more aesthetically pleasing, and also we could take down the fencing in the future if it's up to a spec that's safe for pedestrians, and it's so close to our sidewalks downtown. We also discussed the museum lift fundraising and project update. So special thanks to Fayula. She got the Community Foundation grant for around $42,000. And that's moved them into a space where they feel comfortable moving forward with the lift project, at least in the sense of being able to buy the equipment with the expectation of it being constructed or installed in the future. And then a final project update is the Gish Mill redevelopment. So that work has commenced. I was actually down there today, meeting with the contractors and architects. And the current first phase involves a stabilization of the structure and to prepare for the next redevelopment phase of actually finishing out the building for the future restaurant, apartments, and other tenants. There's a lot of work that's already been done in the past 2 or 3 weeks, but there is still a lot of other work to be done in the future. But the project has commenced. And so that covered a lot, but pending your questions, that was a brief synopsis of our CDC meeting.
Wow, you guys have been busy.
Absolutely.
Questions?
Good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Good report. Wow. Very, very impressive. Oh, Nathan, could you repeat one? What was the percentage of the population that you mentioned at first? I'm sorry.
So it was 450 responses. So it's around 5%.
5%. Wow.
And typically, our consultant said if you're lucky to get 1%, or 1% is a decent sample size. So we had a good response. So
wow.
Thanks to everyone for the help with the outreach and completing the survey. So
yeah. That's awesome.
And we'll share the results obviously at future meetings, and those results will be available for how individuals voted. One thing to note is, of those responses, not all of them were town residents, but surprisingly, a majority of them were. So we were expecting it to be more, or we were hoping it would be mostly all town residents, but it wasn't like a requirement. But actually, a majority of those responses were town citizens, which is great for our comp plan efforts, but we didn't want to restrict it just to town residents.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of people are interested in what's going on in Vinton, right?
Yeah.
Well, great. That's awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to the items that require action tonight. Mr. Town Manager, looks like you got a few things to do here.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor Gross, members of council. I do have a number of items to discuss with you tonight requiring action. The first 2 items are actually both related. Thrash United Methodist Church. I'll give a brief background of kind of how it got to this point. This dates back a couple of years to some private stormwater that runs through the rear of the property under the parking lot. Basically, it is an enclosed a creek channel, natural occurring water channel that flows kind of on the upper end of town through parts of downtown and ends up in Glade Creek. There was a portion of the pipe. This pipe is, at best accounts, about 50 years old, if I'm not mistaken, give or take, about the life expectancy of a metal corrugated pipe, and it's begun to fail. The town actually replaced a similar section of pipe just upstream of this, literally upstream, under Pine Street, under the public right-of-way, and have also assisted with 4 other property owners downstream with some private stormwater that ran through their property in recent years. So the church approached the town about some assistance with this project. So we consulted with them on what the replacement cost would be. We received an initial estimate, and talking with church leadership, they requested town assistance to actually appropriately design or fully design and advertise the project for public bid, which we did. And on September 11th, the town actually received 5 bids, with the low bid being $309,589 from SC Rossi and Company. This is again for a replacement of 48 inches of private stormwater that runs through the rear of the church property. In exchange for the cooperation to design, to bid, and then to oversee the construction, the church has graciously offered to provide the town with a public easement for the stormwater for future repair and maintenance, and in addition to a section of sanitary sewer line that now is owned by the West Virginia Water Authority that runs in a similar area in the church property. So what I'm asking for this evening is to consider adoption of a resolution to award the bid to SC Rossi and Company for $309,589. And we have issued the notice to award to SC Rossi, so they are aware. And assuming we get authorization from council tonight, we will work with the church leadership to offer a notice to proceed. That's a schedule comfortable with both Rossi and the church. And before I introduce our guest this evening, we'll entertain any questions that you might have about the notice of award. Our engineer of record did offer his recommendation to accept this low bid. We did consider some cost-saving options to reduce some of the expenses, but none of those were entertained by the church or recommended by the town. So we are proceeding as designed. And again, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Okay, thank you, sir, very much. Council, do you have any questions or comments? Okay, if not, we'll consider the first resolution, then we'll give Chief Hoback an opportunity to speak on the second one if he'd like. And that resolution, of course, would authorize the contract with SC Rossi and Company as described by the town manager. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Marlin, second by Councilmember McCarthy. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Here.
Councilmember Mullins?
What's wrong with me tonight?
Thank you. She just does that to make me feel.
I was like, it's fine, I'll take it.
We're glad.
Start over.
Councilmember Lyles?
There, yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes.
Well, the second related item this evening regarding the stormwater project at Thrasher United Methodist Church, if you already indicated, Chief David Hoback is here to represent the church in his civilian capacity this evening. So Dave, welcome you to come this evening. And so the next action is actually a collaboration agreement between the town and the church. So originally, the town had set aside some funding that was received from our ARPA funding that was at the time was very concentrated towards our potential uses of that ARPA funds. And so we had originally set aside a number of allocated a number that we could assist with private stormwater repair, and this certainly fit the bill. So this resolution before you would be to enter into a collaboration agreement with the church for our share of the stormwater and the balance of the $309,589 that the church will actually have authorized to make payment to the town. So we will coordinate the construction. We will manage the payments, and we have provided an opportunity for the church to make payments back to the town to reimburse us for their share. So I'll be happy to answer any questions, but obviously Chief Hoback is here and can answer on behalf of the church.
Welcome, Chief.
Would you like to say a thing?
All right, come on up, Chief. This is someone that needs no introduction around here. You can step up if you'd like to make any comments, Chief. We'd certainly entertain them.
I would, Mayor Gross and members of council, on behalf of the church trustees, thank you for this collaborative effort. Without that, the church would be in much worse financial shape to be able to make this project complete. We're excited about the project moving forward. I've already met with representatives from the Rossi Group as early as yesterday. We've talked today. They're anxious to get started. I think his idea was Friday, but I think it'll be delayed just a little bit given the circumstances you brought to me earlier. But we're ready to get forward, and we're very appreciative for your support and collaborative effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Council, you have any questions or comments? All right, you have before you a resolution that would authorize the contract, the collaboration agreement between the town of Vinton and Thrasher United Methodist Church. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles, second by Vice Mayor Stovall. Please follow.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes, second.
Councilmember McCarty,
Yes.
Councilmember Woolley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes, thank you. Before you leave, Chief, I just wanted to, and I should do this in a more formal setting. Chief Hoback needs no introduction around here because of the great friend who's been to the town of Vinton over the years. He's been a great friend, and he's helped us out in a lot of situations that I won't go into a whole lot of details, but without his help, we would have really been in a much worse situation. He's really been a friend to the town of Vinton. I'd like to thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And I also appreciate your efforts. This is a guy that puts action into, changes his words into action, and those efforts, of course, is for regional cooperation. And obviously I didn't prepare a speech, but I do want to thank you for everything you've done as far as regional cooperation and for helping the town out when we really needed it.
Well, thank you very much, and I will tell you that it was easy to do that because there's great people in this town. Of course, I live close to this community and visit this community often, so it was very easy to do. And we got great partnerships with Roanoke County and the city of Salem. And as I travel across the state, you don't find those type of cooperation and the embedded type of services that we have in our community. So we're very grateful for that. And with Chief Griffith and Chief Perlman, who was soon to be retired, it's been easy to do, and because of just great people in good positions to make that effort be successful.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. I know you've done a lot for regional partnership, and it's amazing to me. One last comment, if you would allow this. Since I've been around a while, I can remember when the Valley Cooperation was not as good as it is now, if I can say that. And as a matter of fact, that reputation even extended as far as Richmond. And now it's just the opposite. People recognize how well our local governments work together, and it's because of efforts of people like you. So
Thank you very much, sir.
For that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. I'll call you tomorrow. Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Excuse
sir.
my
I'll
diversion
continue.
there, so.
No problem. Before I go any further, I want to acknowledge all the Jeremy's contributions on these agreements. Obviously, you know that I didn't write these myself, so Jeremy, thank you for all your help to pull all this together. A lot of even late minute revisions, so appreciate all your attention that you give the town. So appreciate that. The next item is seeking a resolution of support on behalf of Carilion Clinic. They are writing a certificate of public need to Virginia Department of Health, an application to prove that certificate of need in their efforts to locate a kidney transplant services location here in the the city of Roanoke. So obviously, I don't need to go into detail of how important that would be to have a local option for kidney transplant services. So when Carilion Clinic reached out to the town to ask for a letter of support, obviously, Mayor Gross and I discussed it, and we wanted to carry that forward for your consideration. So I won't read the actual resolution. It was in your packet, but if you have any questions, myself or Mayor Gross would be happy to answer those for you. But this is just a resolution in support of their application for that certificate of need.
They've done this over, right?
Yes, sir. We're not the only community they've asked for support.
Right. Right. But there did seem to be some sense of urgency there. So, as Town Manager mentioned, he and I discussed it and decided to put it on the agenda for this evening. Obviously, if there's any questions or comments, we'd be glad to consider that. But otherwise, I'd like for you to consider the resolution in support of Korean Clinic for the kidney transplant services.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember McCarty and a second by Councilmember Mullins. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. See how smoothly that went?
I know, if I know how to say the right response.
Thank you. One more.
Mayor, before we move on, I need to recuse myself from this next item because I have personal interest in this project as a property owner of 113 Wesley Avenue, and I will not participate in any discussions nor involved in any negotiations.
Okay, thank you. So you will not be discussing this? That ought to shave off about a half an hour.
Yikes.
Shameless is the only issue we could do it with.
It's a good thing that the mayor ain't talking. Half hour, not an hour.
Yeah, really. Sorry, I just couldn't resist it.
Okay, well, I'll provide just a brief kind of background on this project, but I would like to recognize that both Dale and Seth Wilkinson are here, who are intimately involved in this project and have a lot to do with bringing this idea to fruition. So this is a performance agreement really to engage a partnership again with the town and Wilkinson group to redevelop 121 and 123 Wesley Avenue. The 121 is the former Office Supply property, and 123 is the antique store. Just to refresh your memory, we do have some renderings that I'll pull up and allow Seth and Dale to kind of explain what they're trying to accomplish. But as far as the performance agreement goes, this has been in conversation for quite some time. We're looking for the right series and chain of events to actually get this over to the point of a performance agreement to assist in primarily the public infrastructure piece of this, where we retain ownership, but also kind of following the template that the town has entertained and been successful at the last number of years is to invest in the public space, not only business or buildings that can then provide good locations for business to operate, but also inviting spaces for the public that are pedestrian friendly, that are inviting, that will draw interest and activity. So we've in working with partners such as Dale and Seth, this is most or best illustrated at what was accomplished at Vineyard Station with the parking and the civic pedestrian access that both connects Lee to Vineyard Station as well as Pollard to Vineyard Station with the brick pavers and the patio and that sort of work that's been done, the landscaping, the attractive lighting, the planter boxes and such, is to invest in public space. Because that helps and makes it more attractive to tenants, but also the customers that end up patronizing those businesses. So this is just the next step in the town participating And following that template, as I mentioned, about where we invest in something that's going to be an asset for the community and will be retained in the community, unlike investing in a specific business that could change locations and move out of town ultimately. By investing in buildings and public spaces, those things remain and stay regardless of the business that occupies them. So that's kind of the template we've modeled, and it's been working fairly well. The performance agreement is designed to assist in some of the public improvements. So the public alleyways, eventually the public, we'll call them public plazas, and that'll be more evident here in the moment when you see the presentations, and some utility infrastructure work. There's some drainage problems on the rear of the property. There are some water and sewer upgrades that we need to make. And so we've also in the past invested in facade improvements to make that exterior of the properties more attractive, again, to the tenant and eventually the patron. So that's kind of the parameters of the performance agreement. There's a cash payment up front to encourage the project to get underway. And then as investments and contributions are made toward the public space, then there'll be some contributions from the town back to Dale and the Wilkinson Group to reimburse him for the improvements to the public assets that we will retain. So I think I've described that fairly well enough, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. But I want to give Seth and Dale an opportunity to speak on their project, and I think, Tony, if you could pull up those renderings.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us. I have a way of clearing out a room. Sorry about that.
Did you come every week?
We'll enjoy your comments.
Right. While Mandy and Justin aren't here, I'll take full credit for her achievements. You may not know, but they were former residents of Roland E. Cook School. So we're happy to play a role in their event there. Cool. This is kind of a continuation, if you will, of our effort in Vinton. I'll be just real brief with it. I don't know how much level of detail you want to get in, but initially with Vineyard Station, I guess the idea was keep folks in Vinton to be eating in Vinton and contributing to the well-being of the town. And I think with our project and others, we're well on the right path of keeping folks here. The next step is probably to keep folks in town to shop a little bit. And our vision is to create as many little boutique spaces as we can. Vinton has a proud history of having many, many small businesses having been started here. And it's well past time, I think, to try to reenact some more of that. Our goal is to do that through these little alleyways and public spaces. We've done that on the property on Lee, and then the little one next to the parts department. And this is a continuation of that. You have a pretty large public investment in the parking lot that David owns, and that's been well received. I think this just fits into that as a natural extension of those public dollars that were spent in getting folks to park there and then kind of walk across the street and to, spend some of their time and their money in other Vinton businesses. So a couple things that we're doing is we're taking that antique store. It is a historical structure. It's kind of near and dear to my heart, our heart. And it was a building built in 1939. The Stones occupied it for a pretty significant number of years as an antique store. And we're in the throes now of an effort to pick that building up, put a basement underneath it, and relocate it and maintain its historical status. And then in doing so, at 121 West Lee, I might add, quite the old hangout for that Mr. McCarty had in Vinton. If you keep up with the Vinton history, that was the place to kind of be if you were hanging out. And we want to honor that and bring that back as we want to recognize that family for their many years of service to Vinton, and that'll be the McCarty Building. The corner there, we open up in moving that building, we open up the side of 121 where we can get some exposure. If Walnut, as you know, sort of a gateway into downtown, and our goal there is to make it a welcoming environment that it reflects what people here believe and the good people they are and the welcoming arms they have. So without going on too much about that, we will put a public plaza there on the corner. I will put a couple qualifiers on it. I don't know if you can go through those slides at all or who's doing it, but that's looking from not too far off Pollard, looking at the back of the buildings. You see the plaza there with the trees and the black area. In front of that, the green is the advertising folks. And this pathway will go from Pollard all the way over to Walnut with pavers. And that little green area with the trees will open up shops not only at 120, and both the back and the side of 121, and then as well the shops that also front on Lee Street will have I think a very much improved opportunity for them at some point, should they decide to do so, to open up the backs of their buildings into other shops. And I said I had a little caveat or two. We've had discussions with everyone that owns property there. And I know at least two of the three have been fully supportive. The third one hasn't shown any opposition, but Mr. Carroll, I suppose that's going to take the form of an easement. And
that's what's called for in the agreement presently, yes, to create an easement so that the public will have access over that.
But from Pollard, hopefully that walkway from the parking lot up to Pollard will generate maybe some redevelopment right there at the grocery store and other places in that vicinity. Again, the whole idea is just to create more street frontage, if you will, that will keep folks interested after they have dinner to buy things and stay in Benton. So anyway, with that, we have a 3D. You want to try it? We have a 3D aerial overview if you want to see.
I think the renderings do a fairly good job. Rather than
that will be Stone Plaza on the corner. We want to honor Frank and his wife, who have been nothing but cooperative and spent a lot of time in.
Yeah, that's very
absolutely. Anyway, any questions? The 121. If you don't tell me to be quiet, I'll just keep rambling. 121 currently has a recessed entrance, and we're actually replicating the fire station doors, if you know it, from the Market Building in downtown Roanoke. Chief Hoback would know them, but we're creating a whole new storefront there with 11-foot doors and side windows, and it should really dress up the front of that building. And then we'll be adding these areas to the side for access into the 121 space, as well as some retractable kind of doors there for people to come on outside and eat outside and whatever they want to do outside. Nice thing is we're right across from the stage, as you all know, and I think during events that will be a nice seating spot and just create a warm atmosphere of welcoming, hopefully. See.
Very nice.
Any questions?
Questions or comments?
No questions, but I think I can speak for most of us that we trust your vision, because we've seen what you can do and we love it. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And we do, yeah, thank you so much for taking interest in the town. I mean, that is a dynamic project right there.
Well, the idea behind this kind of stuff, and you all have been so supportive. It takes leadership to step out and do these kind of performance agreements and see the public need and interact. And I've said this for 10 years in Benton. You're very unique as a municipality. You really are. And I hope others can see that our measure of success isn't what we do. It's whether others come in with private capital and invest in the town and do things. And I can just tell you, we've had, over the last couple months, a 4 or 5-fold increase in the number of people inquiring to us about space in Benton. And it's not due to our stuff. It's due to the progressive attitude of this body. So,
Well,
it's been a good thing.
thank you, sir. And I just, by the way, did you?
It's very exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo what the other council members have said. Thank you for your interest and your investment in town. You guys have been great partners, and that's what this town's all about, is partnerships. That's the way we get things done around here. And you said it well. I mean, we've heard about this before. As I'll tell everyone, when we have things that come up for vote, chances are council has been through it a couple of times already, so it doesn't just happen, quickly. But in addition to all the information we have, we love what you've done. So with your kind of record, it really it makes the decision much easier.
We've got some unfinished business at the Cundiff Pharmacy, so we're trying. Next step.
Well, there's still things to do.
Yes, sir.
It's called job security, right?
Next step is going to be housing. We're the great community. I will tell you, there's stuff to come, and in the change of wealth that's occurring across the world, but from generation to generation. And you have all the elements of what we're trying to do at Harvest. That is to create a community. You have all the pieces. You already have the pieces. And the housing piece might be next in Benton, where we can try to change who's owning the homes and getting folks that have been here a while, maybe going to new places, but new families coming in that have that same vision of what their parents did for Benton.
That's great to hear. We've, as you know, recently made changes in our ordinance, our planning department, and the planning commission stays on top of that stuff. So,
sir,
I look for another great partnership there.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move a resolution.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. It's quick work. We have a motion by Vice Mayor Stovall to approve the resolution as presented, and a second by Councilmember Mullins. Please call the roll.
It's fine to call us.
Councilmember Lyles. Council McCarty.
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall.
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Calling the roll tonight's been quite an adventure, hasn't it? All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you a lot. Appreciate y'all. All right, we'll move on to our public hearing for tonight, and this concerns an amendment to the budget. So, of course, we use our regular procedure. I will officially open the public hearing, and we'll start with a report from staff. I see Cody's going to do that, and then we'll take public comments. I'm sure there's a lot, and then council questions. It looks like it's all yours, sir.
Even Nathan's been here.
Yeah, Nathan is on comment.
So tonight we have one public hearing, and just a small note. Typically the public hearings would have come earlier in the agenda, but since this one is directly related to the actions that you were asked to take earlier regarding Thrasher United Methodist Church, we felt it appropriate to sort of put this one afterwards. So the public hearing for this evening handles budget transfers and appropriations. It actually is a transfer tonight, Jeremy. So, regarding the Thrasher Stormwater Project. So, in previous fiscal years, council and staff had sort of allocated $100,000 of money that would come, from the fund balance in order to fund the construction activities for this project were it to come to fruition. So the resolution before you takes a number of steps that I will walk through, since some of the numbers are a little bit different than what was presented earlier, but that's for budget and accounting purposes. So we had set aside that $100,000 of capital fund money, and then after discussion internally with staff, we felt it appropriate to add $30,000, approximately 10% for contingency. So we're taking the action in these transfers and appropriations tonight would take $130,000 of reappropriated fund balance in the capital fund and transfer it to the stormwater fund, where the project will actually be booked when the bills are being paid. The Stormwater Fund is also budgeting a donation from the church of $210,000, their portion of that. And by doing it in this manner, by booking a revenue appropriation in the Stormwater Fund, the church will have until the end of the fiscal year to make that contribution to the town, and town council won't have to come back intermittently between now and the end of the fiscal year anytime those donations come in. So this was sort of mutually agreed upon between us and the church, both to ease the paying out of bills and invoices as this project gets underway, and to give maximum flexibility to the church in order for them to provide that donation to the town. So the total project cost is as stated in the previous items that you considered earlier tonight of $310,000. The reason that 470 is shown for this action item is we have to count the revenues in two separate funds. So that counts that $130,000 twice. $130,000 of revenue in the capital fund that then gets transferred to the stormwater fund and counted as another revenue in the stormwater fund. So if you follow the dollar bills that are moving, it is only $310,000, but for accounting purposes, we're showing it as $470,000.
You know, it's in Washington, D.C. where we spend that money twice.
As much as the town manager tries to spend money multiple times, the deputy town manager keeps him from doing it. Yeah. So that's why the numbers don't quite align between the two. It's because the activities in the resolution before you for this public hearing are occurring across two separate funds. But just to reiterate, based on the action you took earlier tonight, the actual project cost is $310,000, and this will take care of the accounting for that.
Gotcha. Okay. And we're doing this because it's more than 1%?
Yes, sir. It's actually double. It's counting as 1% and greater than 1% in two separate funds. So we are double good.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't see too many folks to make public comments, so council. Yeah. So council, you have any questions, comments, discussion? No? If not, we will officially close the public hearing. Council, you have before you a resolution that I think Cody has done a wonderful job in describing this evening concerning the budget amendments. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles, second by Councilmember McCarty. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes, thank you. All right, I see we have some appointments to committees.
I have 2 recommendations for appointments. Sarah Reed does not want to be reappointed for the next term. It's a 4-year term starting in November 2nd to November 1st of 2028. So it'll start November 1st this year.
And that's the planning commission.
That's the Planning Commission.
Yes, ma'am.
Josh Mullen actually would like to be appointed to that. I had spoken to him and he is all ready to go. So the recommendation is to appoint Josh Mullen as a member of the Vinton Planning Commission to replace Sarah Reed for that 4-year term beginning the 2nd of November to this year to November 1st, 2028. And then the next appointment is for Cody Sexton to be appointed as a alternate for the Roanoke Valley Resource Authority for a 4-year term beginning November 1st, 2024 and ending October 31st, 2028. So right now we only have one person on the the Roanoke Valley Resource Authority, and that's just Pete. So Pete is not able to make it. It's giving Cody a chance to be there in his place.
Cool.
And actually cast a vote on the town's behalf
Oh, okay.
by being an appointed alternate. He
Okay,
has the ability to cast a vote on behalf of the town.
very important, very important. Okay. All right.
I
Council,
would suggest 2 motions since they're 2 different bodies. I don't know, sometimes we aggregate them for a single motion, but since these are 2 different bodies, I would probably bring them. And I also anticipate a lot of debate about whether
yeah, we could be here all night, right? All right, then the first motion I guess we should consider is appointing Mr. Josh Mullen to the Planning Commission
For a 4-year term.
for a 4-year term. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor of approving the motion to appoint Josh, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. And of course, the second motion would be rather controversial, but we will consider a motion to appoint Cody Sexton as an alternate to the RVRA.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, moving right along. Mr. Town Attorney, we've done a lot that involved you tonight, even with your spiffy new tie. And
it is new.
The pale handkerchief. I hear him over there.
Yeah, man. We pay attention to you.
Moving up in the world.
You setting the standard around here, man.
You get an email to wear pink, so.
Yeah, it's just, I saw some calendar invite.
But I don't see anything else listed for you.
Nothing else from me this evening.
I know you've been heavily involved in some of our previous activities, so we appreciate you. Mr. Manager, anything else?
I'd just like to, there's a couple things I want to note, the work that the Public Works and some other staff did on the Fall Festival this past Saturday. Couldn't ask for a better weather day. Amazing crowds. We have not ran the Placer report. There's usually some lag in being able to pull that attendance data, but all indications were visible. It was pretty outstanding day. So just want to acknowledge the number of staff that continue to participate in these events, pulling them off. And also want to just acknowledge the work that being done by Roanoke Gas on the intersection of Pollard and Washington Avenue. We didn't have a lot of notice on that, and I apologize for that. We'll continue to work with the Roanoke Gas to make sure that we're able to provide advance notice on a planned improvement project. We're not complaining about the project whatsoever, but we would prefer to get some information out early. So we'll continue to work on that. It is anticipated to be closed for the remainder of the week. Obviously, they're going to do as quickly as they can to get that pipe replaced, but we do anticipate a couple more days of road closure. So we've done some post-event communication and obviously got detours out. So it seems to be flowing fairly well in the morning, but just wanted to give you that acknowledgement, kind of what that Roanoke Gas project was about. Other than that, that's all I've got.
Cool. Thank you, sir, very much. Certainly appreciate the information about what was going on down there. So I didn't know, so I appreciate that information. And then with that, we'll move on to comments from the council. Vice Mayor, we'll start with you this evening.
I'd like your town manager, want to just take my hat off too. And I know Mr. Chris is on the chamber board. It was just a great event. I mean, the town was just, I mean, it was a huge event. And I mean, I know I was kind of apprehensive to the fact of, because you know, the week before there was an event at the Woman Board for a fall festival. It was an absolute great day. I didn't make it to Pokey Joe's, but Patsy wanted to go there Sunday, and I was talking to the owner of Pokey Joe's, and he said that he didn't think he'd have a better day like he had at the Dogwood, but Saturday he beat the Dogwood, beat the Dogwood day. And on a McCarty personal note, back to as Mr. Wilkerson was talking, that was McCarty's Hardware, that building he was referring to. And Chris's grandfather, of course, naturally I called him Mr. McCarty, but his nickname was Hawkeye, gave me my first fishing rod.
Really?
Back years ago. It was a all one-piece plastic fishing rod.
Wow.
So anyway, that's the two things I got. Thank you.
It's one of those great Vinton memories. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. Amy, you have anything first?
I just have two quick things also. First thing is hockey season is only 3 days away.
All right.
And also election day coming up. Go out and vote. Just because the three of us that are on the ballot haven't been out doesn't mean we don't care. We do. We care about Vinton and these issues, and we just want to stay away from the hubbub.
Yeah.
So just get out and vote.
Well said. Okay. Ma'am, you have anything further?
I want to give a shout out to Renee's restaurant for my restaurant for this 2-week term, and I'm so looking forward to this is such a great idea with the flag. Mm-hmm. That is going to be cool.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope that I didn't announce too much. I thought it was a paper for me to announce it, and then I didn't realize Donna was coming on to talk about it. So anyway, it's going to be great.
You're right.
What is going on with me, man? And I'm excited about the breast cancer walk and the money that was raised, because we came a long way. There was a lot of times when I think some folks thought we weren't going to be able to have that event.
All right.
And so for that to happen, and my best friend is a survivor, and I've got a coworker that's a survivor, so it's near and dear. So please accept my apology for my overwhelming enthusiasm earlier and my inability to answer correctly to the here, there, or whatever.
You're perfectly all right.
Start saying here. What? Oh yeah. What?
I know you just do that to make me feel better when I mess up so much.
I do. I try to.
I appreciate that.
What's up, Keith?
Sir?
I will also say it was a great job on the money that you guys raised for the cancer walk for being the first time. You should be very proud of that. I also heard that the fall festival was really nice. That was actually the second day before I get some time off, and I'm looking forward to the next 166 days off.
Not that you're counting.
Right.
It was 167, wasn't it?
It was 168. Dude's already gone.
Man, that's it.
I thought it was 364. You're kidding. Okay, thank you for that. Sir, did you have something else?
I just failed to recognize, I just wanted to point out, Jill Loop is with us this evening. We somehow pulled Jill out of retirement to work part-time for the town.
So
she decided to come and join us tonight. She wanted to see how we operate.
You know me.
I hope we didn't scare you off, Jim.
There's me.
So glad you were able to find a seat tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Jill, welcome aboard. Very exciting. Very exciting. I'm glad you're here tonight. Glad you're going to be part of the team. And our meeting's a little different, sometimes informal and humorous, but we do get some work done. So
You've got to be like the best town ever to pull a legend out of bake out of retirement.
I know.
Not many towns can do that.
Yeah. And guess what else? She's a hockey fan.
Oh, you do fit in really well.
Just a girl.
And let me say, we might not have looked as attentive when Mr. Bushy spoke, but I think it's the sixth time he spoke on that issue. So anyway.
So I appreciate the comments from council. If I might just quickly in closing, Chief, thank you for the patch. Really, really neat and very symbolic of the fact that that's the way we do things in town. It's a team effort and working along with you guys and everything. So it's very significant. Thank you for that. If I can just have a personal note there again, didn't really prepare for this. Most of you know I lost my father-in-law yesterday, and also lost my best friend growing up, my next door neighbor last week. Yeah, so it's been kind of a weird time. So I appreciate all of y'all's support. I know that I can count on you guys. And I thought, man, just two wonderful people. I mean, two folks that had a huge impact upon my life, most particularly my father-in-law, and wondering how in the world I was going to honor these two guys. Well, both of them were honorable veterans. Yeah. So tonight I figured out how I was going to honor these guys with the flag.
Perfect.
Yeah, one of them, my father-in-law was in World War II in the Navy, actually on the ship, not just in the Navy. But so he was very proud of his service. And my buddy was, for those of us who was in the Vietnam era, he was a machine gunner on a side door in a medevac helicopter in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Worst job in Vietnam, yeah. And it had an impact upon the rest of his life, by the way. But, of course, I lost a friend and a relative, but this country lost two great men, two great veterans, and I just wanted to recognize them. I'm going to get a couple of flags. So we sold a few flags.
There we go.
We did.
So thank you, folks. Anything further to come before council? No? So we're not going to close, are we?
No, I move that the town council of the town of Benton convene to a closed session pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A5 for the purpose of discussing a prospective business where no previous announcement has been made of the business interest in locating its facilities at the intersection of East Virginia Avenue and South Pollard Street in the town.
Okay, so that's a motion?
That is my movement.
Yes, okay, it's good movement. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Can we call the roll on that?
I will. I got you. That comes back.